Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're back in another snapshot. This is snapshot 23W16A and it brings a few changes to 120 features. The main point of this snapshot is a lot of tweaks to the trail ruins. So we'll jump to them in a second. First of all, there has been updates to the pottery shards. Every pottery shard is now called pottery sherd. What sherd means, it's a broken piece of ceramic that you can basically find in archaeology sites. So they've just basically done that to make it match up more with the archaeology wording. So it's not a big change, it's literally just a wording change, but that is now the case for every single actual shard. Also, the code names have changed, so if you have data packs or anything already in 120 that add or change anything about pottery shards, you will need to change or update them to be pottery shards, because as you can see, the code names have also been updated. The next change is sniffers within your world can now actually be tempted by torchflower seeds. So if I have myself some torchflower seeds, as you can see, this sniffer will now follow me. They are very slow. As you can see, I'm actually sneaking and the sniffer is still a lot slower than me. Leads are probably the best thing, but they will now follow torchflower seeds if you just want to lure them into a pen or something. There has been an update or a bug fix, I guess, to skulk sensors and skulk shriekers. And that changes if a vibration is scheduled to be received by a skulk sensor or skulk shrieker, they will stay queued until all adjacent chunks are loaded and ticking. And the reason this change has been made is it prevents vibration resonance setups from breaking when unloading their chunks from a distance. So I don't exactly know what this means. It obviously means if a vibration is being sent and you unload the chunks, it will now be scheduled. That would probably make more sense to technical players or people who know about skulk sensors and shriekers and they're basically how they work. And I've quickly just put it on game capture because as you can see up here, the icon has been updated. It's very small, you might not be able to see it, but you might actually notice when launching your game that the actual icon has been updated. It's now a grass block for stable versions and a dirt block for snapshot versions. So if you're playing in, let's say, 119, it will be a grass block. If you're playing in snapshots, it will then be a dirt block. I guess that's kind of cool. So it's like kind of signals if you're playing within a stable version or a snapshot version, rather than it always being a grass block. So let's now head to a trail ruins. And the first change that has been made to this structure is sand will no longer generate here. So if I quickly just give myself the effect of night vision so we can kind of see what's going on underground. And let's just set that to true so we don't have the bubbles. As you can see, there is no more sand. You can see that it's now just purely gravel. There has also been added some new actual variants of structures. So there should be some new variants that you haven't seen within the structures before. Once again, back to capture, because another change has been made. So there are now 2 loot tables for the trail ruins. The first one is trail ruins common. This basically covers all like rubbish or scrappy items. As you can see, emerald, wheat, wooden hoe, clay, brick, yellow dye, blue dye, light blue dye, white dye, orange, red, or orange dye, red candle, green candle, purple candle, brown candle. You then have a few of the glass pane colors, and then you also have the spruce hanging sign, oak hanging sign, gold nuggets, coal. You have also, wait, was wheat seeds in it twice? No, wheat is at the top there. So you have wheat seeds, beetroot seeds, dead bush, flower pot, string, and lead. So these are within a loot table of basically common items. And then if we go off of this one to the other one, this one is rare items. So these are basically all the pottery shards and also the smithing templates. It has also been tweaked the amount of gravel and dirt that will spawn within the structure. So there should be a bit more of a fair amount. And also the amount of suspicious gravel has been tweaked. It don't actually state if that is higher or lower. So I'm not too sure if you find more or less suspicious gravel, but it just says it has been tweaked. Also, if you have a old snapshot world, you could see this bug or this error when loading it on stuff like servers or in your logs. This is nothing. It's just basically saying that stuff has changed. And also, if you have actual trail ruins that have already been generated, some areas could be missing. So it's nothing major. It's just a error. but it shouldn't affect your world in any way if you do update from prior snapshots. The next new thing is that there is now a actual advancement trigger. So this probably means that we might get an advancement in a future snapshot that basically is granted when you actually use a recipe. So if you was to, for example, craft a diamond sword, you can then have an advancement track that. There is now also a new command called /return. Now, I don't exactly know what this does yet because I haven't had time to mess around with it, but if we quickly just jump to the patch notes, the return command can be used to control execution flow inside functions and change their return value. And you can see what it basically does there. And then also it can have the return value and also the value and integer. So I don't exactly know what this means. I haven't had time to mess around with it. If you do, then obviously you can mess around with this command. But it has been added, so it's now usable. There are also 2 new tags, added villager plantable seeds to represent which kind of seeds villagers can farm. And then they also added maintains farmland to represent which blocks will not cause farmland to convert to dirt when placed on top of. So the villager plantable seeds is an item tag, and it basically has wheat seeds, potatoes, carrots, beetroot seeds, torchflower seeds, and pitcher pods. And then the actual maintains farmland is pumpkin stem, pumpkin, attached pumpkin stem, melon, melon, attached melon stem, beetroots, carrots, potatoes, torchflower crop, torchflower, pitcher crop, and also wheat. There is also a change to display entities, rendering changes. Item display has been rotated 180 degrees around Y axis to better match transformation applied when rendering items on armor stand heads and in item frames. So now let's quickly just have a look at some of the actual structures for the trail ruins. You can see right here, there is one. This is the actual building group 1. If we then go a few blocks over and do building group 2, that is what that one looks like. These are normally like pretty much the same, just with some tweaks, so they do look different. So then if we go to 3, you can see they all have like the pretty much same shape, just some of them are using different colors and some of them are a bit more destroyed or have blocks changed in them. This one is actually made out of complete bricks, so that has a big difference. And then finally we have number 5, which you can see once again has some different colors in it. Now some of these could have been in the prior snapshots. I have no clue what ones were and what ones wasn't. So there are what they call group lowers. So I'm guessing these are probably like lower parts of the actual structure. We then have, so we've done group 4, we've done group hall, lower. We then have rooms. So this seems to be room, or what they call group room 1. Now obviously all these are placed together within the structure, and this is obviously what the structures are made out of. There are also a structure called one room. I'm only going to summon one of these because obviously the others are probably the same. Bricks of multiple colors and then the mud bricks. And these are called one rooms. They once again just seem to have some actual workstations in. This one seems to have a cauldron, and just majority of them are filled with gravel. Now there are also the roads, which if we quickly just delete that, you can see that there are, if we scroll down, you have the decors. They don't seem to have changed. They might have added a few new ones, but if I remember correctly, yeah, they all are pretty much this, just different shapes and sizes. Before we end, the polished blackstone button now breaks at the same speed as normal stone buttons. There was a bug before, meaning that these took longer to break. There's also a bug marked on the actual patch notes saying the chiseled bookshelves redstone output is inconsistent. That is literally all the bug says, so I don't exactly know what this means. But the chiseled bookshelves redstone output should now be more consistent in some way. There has also been a bug marked on the tracker. Can they go inside of boats? Sniffers still can't go into boats, but there is also a bug that has been marked that said sniffers can now go in minecarts. And yes, as you can see, they can. So you can now put sniffers in minecarts. You still cannot put them in boats though. There was a bug, meaning if there was a item in between you and where you was brushing, you couldn't actually brush. Well, that has been fixed, and as you can see, you can now brush through dropped items. They should now be able to plant the actual torch flowers onto the ground. Apparently that has been a change that has been made. So if we quickly just threw him a load of them, he should be able to plant them on the spots where obviously it's farmland. If you actually feed a sniffer some torch flower seeds while it is sniffing, it will stay motionless on the ground and then not do anything and then carry on digging after a few minutes with no animation. that has now been fixed. And also when the sniffers breed, it will now say sniffer plops rather than chicken plops. And as you can see, this villager is getting hard at work planting the torchflower seeds. A few bugs have also been fixed where sniffers could actually dig while in panic mode. So that has now been fixed and they'll no longer sniff while they are panicking. And also the animations are now smoother for the actual sniffer. There was a few bugs where the animations wouldn't like transition smoothly. That has now also been fixed. But anyway, that is where I'm going to end this video. It's quite a small snapshot, but the changes in it are kind of good ones, especially to do with the actual trail ruin structure. Hopefully it's now a structure that is actually worth looting and looking for. But anyway, if you enjoy, leave a like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.